What up, Toure? Episode 7. Nope. There's the countdown.
Yo,
What up, Toure? How you doing, man?
I'm well, bro. How you, Wayne?
Chilling. Episode 7, almost to double digits. Just getting
Consistency,
started,
right?
though. Yeah,
Consistency.
it's the name of the game. Hey, I'm gonna dig right in because I know it's evening. I don't want to keep you too long. I don't want to keep the people too long, but I also want to be substantive and impactful. So I wanted to read something to you. I sent last episode we talked about the demo that we showed that we added to the webinar. So obviously I was excited about, even though I've been along the whole ride and that was the vision. But again, I was kind of taken aback to actually see it materialize. So I was sharing it with a bunch of people because I thought it was a great representation of the lift that working with us can relieve somebody of. And I sent it to one of my close friends that we've been friends since college, but also in the tech industry. He's an entrepreneur himself. And his response was nice productivity workflow with a thumbs up. And I don't think I've ever taken a blow that hard via text message in my life. And I've gotten some pretty crass text messages, but, and all I could say was it's not a workflow, but I realized that there was not a whole lot else I could say via text message to help him understand that it was so much more. So I wanted to jump on here where we had a little more time and could have an open dialogue, more of a conversation about it and talk about how it's so much more than just the workflows and automations that people have grown accustomed to just infusing in their business.
Yeah, I think that it's amazing. It's still new, but yet old at the same time. Like, some people treat it like, oh, I know what that is. Partly because, and partly is because of the way they operate on a daily basis with it. And I think that when we talk about standing up a person's time, it's funny when when someone says I use it. Well, how much time has it relieved you from? They are more busy than they ever been.
Right.
They more busy than they ever been. Like, man, I ain't got time, man. I'm like, yeah, I can see.
Because what
So
they did is they just added another step. They didn't
yeah.
really integrate AI into the business. They just added another step to their process
Now
in most cases.
listen. At the end of the day, if someone says they've incorporated AI in their business, the question is that the most precious thing? It may have making them money, but the thing is it increasing or improving your time? If it ain't doing that, then you didn't need AI to make money. I'm just being honest. We were making money well before AI came into play. So the thing is that it's time. Right now, AI can't take taste. It can't take your unique perspective. So I think the funny thing is for us is that we were also trapped behind that where we
Mhm.
couldn't put out content. Look at us, man. We're now freeing up time to get online to do content. Like, even productizing our business in a way that, we can still serve people and not still feel trapped behind the work. I think what takes most of my time now is how can I be more creative? Like, how can
Oh,
I,
absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? So I think that's, it's unfortunate because it just goes to show you how much work we still got to do. I mean, I shouldn't say unfortunate. I think it's a great opportunity. That message that you receive is an opportunity of why we need to be more present. And people like us in the space who understand that, there's so much misinformation or fear of this tech, or there's this idea that I know everything about this tech, that I'm maximizing it. Hell, I'm maximizing it to the full extent and still learning some stuff, bro. Like,
Hey,
so
man, you said something there, a couple of things like fear and and the need to be like, I'm using it, I'm the one. And it plays into also and I tell Hudson this all the time, that never shy away from saying, I don't know or tell me. And
yeah,
I think maybe, and don't take this the wrong way, not you, but him, the message in case he sees this, but maybe he said that because he's a tech guy. I mean, was talking about smartwatches before Apple released a watch. So he's been in the tech space for a while and I have not. So for me to present him something like that, it may have been a little daunting to say, what is that? And on the flip of it, it's easier to be like, "Oh, that's just this,"
mm,
assuming that I'm the same person that he knew that's none the wiser and be like, oh, maybe it is a cool workflow, but it's far from a workflow. Like there's nothing about if and then about that video that was sent where it's literally processing the email as it comes in, extracting information, taking the data, putting it somewhere, computing it, compose like that. How who puts together a workflow that intricate?
Hey, listen, I think that you are probably spot on. And what I mean by being spot on, I think it's interesting that he probably looked at who you were and who he was in the space. And the vulnerability would be like, well, I supposed to know that. So my
Yeah.
response is going to be a match that, yeah, I know what that is. And if I'm a betting person, which I don't gamble, it wouldn't shock me if he tried to duplicate it. And no disrespect, I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? When you see somebody do something dope, the first thing you do is like, let me see how AI can close the gap and make sure I understand what was just said. But the reality of it is that, you know, him taking that approach, like you said, is probably about more about himself than it is about you. It would have been awesome if he would have brought that to you because ultimately he's in the tech space. For someone who your background and you bring a tech to him, it's like, how dare you in some degree advance? But that also goes to show you how quickly the internet or the tool has closed the gap for those who are novice. I think I shared with you before yesterday, man, in my passionate rant about the idea of I was listening to this investor, and he stated that I like to invest in lazy entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
and he was like, you know, and it was like, why? He was like, because the ones who are extremely smart and the ones who are extremely capable are the ones who are extremely complex and they make business more complex than it really needs to be. And, you know, I think the way you think, sometimes you make tech seem very simplistic, right? And sometimes we can be button heads with our versions of it because of how simplistic it is. But really,
Sometimes.
but
This dude
but
just described a day in the life at Eckroft and said
yeah,
sometimes.
but yeah, but I think that it's interesting though when you consider the fact that, you know, if I said tech, that means many days before this, that means I was smart. But you in tech, it's automatically assumed. If you say you're a doctor, hell, you ain't got to be a doctor of, you can be a doctor of anything, but you put the doctor in front of it, man, dude, hey man, he's smart, right? You know he's smart. His name is doctor or something. And that,
Yeah.
but I think the tools that are out today has put us in a position that it can close the gap and you don't need to know all the things for it to change your life, right? For you to be more efficient and how you can improve how you communicate with people, how you more present, how you can stay with your children and not feel like work is compounding that or you're not missing anything of importance. And then also being a way that we've already been given the blueprint by watching Back to the Future, looking at some of these movies. They've already gave us the blueprint of how we could really actually take concepts and actually make them be real life scenarios because there are tools that now speed that make that real possibility. So, you know, I think that that's kind of more, you know, something to kind of start looking out for and start paying attention that the people who are crushing it in this space are people who don't know much about tech. And
Absolutely.
it goes back to the investor, you know, the simplicity is what wins. And it's almost like subtraction is how you grow,
Yeah.
not multiplication. So I think that that was a great correlation of this person who's been in tech and your perspective on simplicity.
Absolutely. And there's a saying that there's another member of our team that has a fingerprint on a lot of the things that we do, and she always says that the genius is in making the complicated simple.
Mm.
And I think that the people that are, like you said, crushing it in tech right now didn't necessarily start in tech. They got a hold of it. And because of the way that they were utilizing it, they made it simple. And working with the two of you and just watching you, obviously, first of all, watching you, I was just hands off, just completely hands off. And then watching the two of you work together and understanding that I needed to be more part of the business and being more involved. One of the things as we started to set things up for me is and I still have it here. She put this sign here that says, "How can AI make that easy?"
Mm.
And it's really about figuring out what you do on a day-to-day basis and then just constantly asking yourself, like, how can I utilize AI so that you don't get caught adding another step? Like, figure out how you can use AI as a tool or resource, not just as another tab or another window that's open that you go to do another thing before you put it into the email, before you create the document.
No, I think people realize I'm about to bring it down to something everybody can relate to. Like people look at it just from a business standpoint. Let's just bring it personal. Like, you know, we typically don't go to the grocery store without ordering it and they already having it ready for us to pick up. So that's a digital experience, man. Instead of you always wondering if you maybe book something that you already purchased, already in your cupboard, or be able to start to see the patterns, you can actually start having it pull that stuff for you and actually start doing all your grocery runs for you. Like, that's one less thing you got to think about. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then now you can take inventory of what you actually have in your home and then be able to say what type of meals. Now, what if it actually spit out to you and told you what type of meals you can
No,
make
it's
with the stuff
absolutely
that you got in your
doable.
home? Like, I mean, I think that just taking it down to the most practical way of how people do business. I know we use our phones, and I can tell you right now, Facebook has saved me a lot on just taking people's birthdays. But what if you could basically have already intentions that you wanted to send out a Christmas card or a birthday gift or whatever the case may be? Why couldn't I do that for you?
But
Right?
one step further, because I know we have the capability, is in regards to those gifts, it go to the things that they're sharing online, the things that they're doing, and give you a list of gifts that the AI knows and has earmarked as something that they would be able to use. So you're not just giving another meaningless gift.
Absolutely. And I think that that's important. Like, you speaking on something that that, like, the little secret sauce we do with trying to find people is like, not only can we reactivate experiences of people that we've worked with, but we can actually go scroll and look exactly about the things they've recently done. Have they recently got married? Had they had a baby? Or what have they posted recently that was something that was impactful? So then when we reach out, it seems like we have been very intentional in our approach. And I think there's so many different ways that you can use information. And I think as a whole, because we've been so lacking the ability to use data, we don't know how to use data. We only look at the stuff that's on the surface level to determine. And because we are looking at it from a surface level, we don't recognize that we have the ability to impact with that data. We can foreshadow what the world looks like and the people that we want to work with and just the people we want to impact by just basically looking at the data. And I think that's a huge opportunity, whether you're trying to strengthen family relationships, whether you are trying to impact people on a professional level. Hell, if you're trying to strengthen your home, there's so many people trying to lead and they ain't even got their house in order. Like, it's a combination we talked about before, man. Like, the idea is that you are a product of what you do. And what you do at one thing, you do in all things. You can
Everything is
take
everything.
everything is everything. So, the thing is that each day we are always constantly looking at what is the why. And I think I want to make it very clear. Our proposition of how we see working with business owners is, how can I give them a day back? And then obviously make every decision around that. If I can help a business owner get a day back, especially an operator putting in 14 hours a day, are you serious? You just add that up 52 weeks? It's getting you 52 days? Like, come on, man. Like, that's how you build, you when you start seeing, like, how do I get a day back? Like, those 15 minutes, those 20 minutes, those 30 minutes, that stuff adds up. And at the end of the day, the question would be is, what could you do with the time if I gave you a day back? That's a total different conversation. Who would you spend it with? What would you do? What have you
Yeah.
been putting off?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's powerful. But I mean, it goes back to, and obviously, if you want more information about this, you can go to eckroftmedia.com, DM either one of us, Teray D. Young on Instagram or Wayne Runs on Instagram and TikTok or Facebook. Well, whatever suits you, just reach out. I mean, we're here to help. And if you can't tell already, the last thing we want to do is inundate you with jargon and the tech and the tools. Like, we want to provide a real solution that you understand and just have you use it, not necessarily have you learn AI or take a course or watch a bunch of YouTube videos that tell you the best ways to navigate through insert new AI tool here. You just want to wrap it around what you already do so that it becomes infused in you. Kind of like, what was I watching? I was watching Hunger Games with Hudson, and they put the tracker in the people in Hunger Games that measures their vitals and tracks them throughout I guess we'll call it the course that they're on when they're in the first Hunger Games, and that's really what we want to do with with this. It's just wrap it around what you already do and have you continue to operate the way you operate and just make everything more impactful, more efficient, more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's good, bro. Good, absolutely.
Yeah, man. I know is getting up there. It's about time to start getting ready for tomorrow. So I'll let you get to it. I appreciate you jumping on, and
Absolutely.
we'll tap back in tomorrow and continue this conversation and reach as many people as we can.
Absolutely, bro. Be one.
All right, sir. Be
All right.
well.
Yep.